What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate you tuning in today. We are back in my 2006 Nissan 350z Rev-up, and today we're actually continuing the series of engines explained. We're going to be talking about the Nissan 350z Rev-up engine today. Yesterday we talked about the VQ35DE that comes in the normal 350z. Today's topic, the Rev-up engine, was actually produced in 2005 and 2006, so we're going to be discussing that today. This is the motor right before the HR edition that came out in 2007 and 2008. All right, so let's begin with like the basic specifications. Base horsepower started at 300 flat, which is up 13 horsepower from the normal DE engine. And the RPM was actually increased to 7K from 6,500. Now, a huge common misconception is that all 2005 and 2006 models actually contain the Rev-up engine, and the Rev-up motor wasn't actually incorporated in the 2005 models until the 35th anniversary edition came out and the track edition. All the other 2005 models have the base DE engine, and then every 350Z produced in 2006 actually came with the Rev-up edition motor. So on the normal DE engine, variable valve timing was only added to the intake cam, and on the Rev-up version and the HR, they actually added variable valve timing to the exhaust side as well. So here's a picture of a normal DE motor. As you can tell, there's two pretty smooth silver circles right in the middle. That's actually the variable valve timing on the intake side. Here's a picture of a Rev-up engine. As you can tell, there's actually two new circles on either side of the variable valve timing on the intake. This is the variable valve timing they added to the exhaust side, and this actually changed the engine a whole bunch, which we're actually going to talk about here in a second. So adding the dual variable valve timing, this actually allowed the car to make a lot more power, about 25 horsepower to be exact. The Rev-up actually had an entire new wiring harness as well as a new ECU. The dual variable valve timing system was actually continued throughout the Rev-up and the HR production line. So on all three engines, the DE Rev-up, and the HR, all three actually used hydraulically actuated continuous variable valve timing. And on the Rev-up and the HR, an electromagnet cam phaser was actually introduced to the exhaust side, which actually improved combustion efficiency throughout the entire RPM range. This is an interesting thing because I don't hear many people talk about this in the Rev-up. Usually people are only dogging the Rev-up engine because of the fact that it burns a lot of oil, which we're going to talk about here in a second as well. But what nobody talks about is that it has double variable valve timing. I mean, this allows engines to be way more efficient. So having this dual variable valve timing on the Rev-up and the HR actually provided a wider torque band. And this is usually pretty good for street use because most of the time you're not able to get to the very high RPM ranges. So having a wider torque band allows, regular street driving to be more exciting. So let's talk a little bit about why it burns so much oil. A lot of people won't buy this car, like I was just saying, because of the fact that it's known to burn a lot of oil. And in reality, it doesn't burn a lot of oil. It burns more than the normal DE does. All three engines, the DE, the Rev-up, and the HR, all burn oil. The VQ is just notorious for it, but the Rev-up just burns a little bit more in general. The Rev-up actually had a more robust oil pump, which a lot of people think is part of the reason why it burns a lot more oil. And then I've read that adding the variable valve timing actually it pulls oil into the combustion chamber. So a lot of the piston rings and stuff get deteriorated over time with American fuel, which kind of goes back to yesterday's video talking about using really high quality fuel because it affects so much inside the engine. You wouldn't even believe it. But as a direct result of piston rings being eaten over time, it pulls oil into the combustion chamber, and that's why you get the insane oil smell when you floor it, when the oil's topped off and stuff like that. I love the smell personally. One thing I was actually really interested in is high mileage oil actually has additives inside of it that basically lubricate piston rings and stuff that have been old and worn out, and that's basically why high mileage oil even exists. So a lot of oil companies add these additives to their oils that can like regenerate and hydrate your rings, and you'll get a little bit more life out of them. So I was actually gonna have a test. Next time I change my oil, I was gonna try and use high mileage oil to see if I actually burned less oil because of the fact that the rings, are not as dry. So just something I've heard online. I'm gonna test it out myself though coming up here because I feel like it's something, that needs to be done, like something that needs to be figured out, because I feel like there's so many 2006 350Zs out there on the road today that aren't getting purchased because of this one reason that if you watch most YouTube videos, everybody seems to talk about. So, but anyways, that's basically all I have for you guys for the Nissan 350Z Rev-up. They didn't change a whole bunch with the Rev-up, but there are a few specific changes that are pretty important. So thank you guys so much for joining today's video. Go ahead and let me know if you learned anything or if you enjoyed it and want to see more videos like this. Go ahead and drop a comment down below. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And then please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.